Welcome. This is Erev Yom Tov of Pesach. It's an honor to be here. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. Very difficult to be here. Do me a favor. Go upstairs. And there's 5 chairs. Bring them down. I texted you waiting for you.
5 chairs.
I texted you.
Come.
I texted you. I said I'm waiting for you to come.
Okay. 5 chairs.
5 chairs. There's chairs right by the steps, please.
Okay, the Zera Shimshon is live.
So you have to realize how difficult it is to come out on. It's very difficult. I ain't gonna lie. How many times I thought in my head, should we, shouldn't we? Maybe back and forth. But the fact is, I told my wife, I go, do you think any bad decision that you ever made in your life was all from the Yetzirah or not? So she goes, I don't know. I go, the truth is, the answer is yes. Every bad decision anybody's ever made is all from the Yetzirah. In Derech Hashem, it says that the neshama is so concentrated that it's very easy for the neshama to just metaken the goof right away. You know that? But because Hashem wants the fight to be a fight, because Hashem wants the fight to be a fight, He makes it exactly even. You know what I mean? So you can't, you're not able to, you have to fight. Because otherwise, you're not going to get any sachar. You're not going to want it given to you. You want it earned. You're going to want it earned. Okay. So we're on Parashat Bo. So first of all, there's a few names that I want to give it a refuah shlema to. Number one is Yisrael, David Ben Yitzchak, a good friend of mine. I hope he has a refuah shlema b'mhirut. We have a Hayel Boded who needs our prayers. Moshe Ben Yehudi Tzara. Bezat Hashem and the zechut of our learning Zera Shimshon, he should have a refuah shlema. We have for Parnasav Hayim Aharon Ben Bila Hana. We have Yosef Reuben Ben Naomi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give them Parnasav b'mhirut Ben Nahat and b'Kedusha Tahara. We have 2 people that are looking that need Yeshuot for children. Okay, Malka Bat Sarah and Hayim Nachman Ben Mashe Riva. That Hashem should give them a baby, a healthy child, and all the zechut of our learning is Zera Shimshon. You should know that the main reason how the Zera Shimshon Limud started coming out was Davka specifically because Rabbi Zilberberg was involved with making things for kids that, making things for couples that couldn't have children. You know that? And it's amazing because it started with that. And the first segula that in our group that was recorded was somebody who needed to have a child, who didn't have children. They tried everything. And Rabbi Zilberberg's father told him, go learn Zera Shimshon with him. He was a family friend. And they did it, and within the year, the kid got a baby. Wow. The guy got a baby. Unbelievable story. So really, they should have a baby, healthy baby. All right, now we're going to Parashat Bo. Open up to Parashat Bo. Yud Gimel. Pesach. Very interesting one. It's not going to be what you suspected. We don't really talk about it much, but here it goes. Seli esh umatzot al merorim yochelu. Okay, it's very, very interesting. It says Seli esh, right? You're gonna eat your korban pesach yud gimel. You're gonna eat your korban pesach roasted. Umatzot al merorim yochelu, and your matzot on top of the merorim you're gonna eat. Right? Very nice. Bring up some chairs. Maybe you know what? Bring a table. Go get a table from upstairs. There's 4 tables. Bring one. All right. So yesh ledadek. Lama kan ifsiga katuv hamatzot amar. Why over here did the pasuk stop where it says al matzot umrorim? It uses the word al in between. Right? Why does it use the word al in between? Right? And Parashat Be'alotecha it says al matzot umrorim yocheluhu. Right? It says al matzot. So why? So you understand the question? Why? By our Parashat Bo, Mr. Stone, it says Seli esh umatzot al merorim yochelu, and then also it says by here we go. Now it's a party. Why by bring some more down, please. Baruch Hashem. Well, you don't realize how big of a zechut this is, especially for me. You don't realize this is really heavy deal. This is unbelievable. Ruben, maybe move over so we can connect the table. Move over so we can connect it. So the first question is why in our pasuk in Parashat Bo or on Yud Gimel, Mr. Stone on Bo, Why do we say al matzot? Matzot on top of merorim you're going to eat, but regarding in Behalot Echad it says matzot umrorim yichulu together, they're connected. Versus Parashat Bo where it says the word al in between. That's the first question. Ve'od kasher lama hazar lomar yochilu. Right, the pasuk says wa achlu et basar seli esh al matzot umrorim yochilu. Why does it say eat twice? Okay, it says they're eating twice. Why just say you're going to eat it first? Why does it have to say you're going to eat twice? Okay, so these are two questions. Now we know omnam limud aruch befiav mefarshim. Right, he says there's a whole many derashot from different mefarshim that says that we brought up in Parashat Vayera, Parashat Shemot, in all different places regarding the galut in Mitzrayim. That if Bnei Israel would have stayed until the entire time in Mitzrayim, they would not have to have other galuyot. It's an amazing thing. That if we would have stayed within the 400 years like we were supposed to, we never would have had to hit any other galuyot. Right? And not only that...
Because we would never leave.
No, that's the problem. Very good.
Catch-22.
Lo eta oduma, very good. Right? Velashot sholet b'hem. Right? Ela shelefishu slechu legayer, but because that we had to get out early, because we hit the 49th level of Tumah, like the pasuk says, ki behipazon, right? It's not such a great thing. Ki behipazon. Behipazon means that Hashem had to grab us out because we had no choice, because we couldn't stay any longer, right? Lachen halal lehem. That's why we got the other galuyot. So again, we know that he brings the mefarshim that explains that regarding the galut in Mitzrayim that if Bnei Israel would have stayed in Mitzrayim until the whole 430 years, depending on what you go by. Right? If they would have kept the whole time, we would not need any other galuyot in Mitzrayim. Right? And we would have went straight, we all know. Right? And we would not have any other nation being sholet. So you would never have 1492. You would never had the Crusades. You never would have had the Shoah. You have to realize what that means, that there's no other nation will be sholet on us. It's real stuff. Okay? But because we know that Hashem had to grab us out because we were on the 49th level and one more second we would have been there forever, which is a very scary thought to understand. What does the 49th level mean? I have no idea. What does that mean, 49th level? What level are we on? I have no idea. Scary to even think about that. Right? Because the pasuk says, Ki behipazon yatzat me'eretz Mitzrayim. Right? So on Yud Gimel. So now, fast forward. Now Hashem had to take us out. Not done deal, right? We couldn't survive the 49, we were going to go down to the 50th level. Hashem had to pull us out. No problem. Right? But now we also know that when we got to Har Sinai, Hashem gave us the Luchot HaBerit. And when He gave us the Luchot HaBerit, He gave us freedom from the Malach HaMavet and freedom from other Galuyot. Second chance. Okay? He gave us freedom from the Malach HaMavet and Shebud Malchuyot. And He says that if we didn't sin, right, in the Midrash it explains that if we didn't sin by the Egel, right, we would have kept this freedom. We would have kept this freedom and we never would have had an issue. Right? Like we've said in different places. He would have this is important. He would have considered the she'ebud completed, and we never, and not only this, the hardship of the slavery would have been enough. The hardship, the she'ebud, the koshi she'ebud, very important words. The koshi she'ebud means what? Mordechai, what does it mean? The difficulty of the slavery, right? The difficulty, right? Shekiblu Mitzrayim. He would have considered it complete payment of the whole 430 years, and we never did it. We never had to go to other galuyot. Okay, so again, two things. One is by Har Sinai. We got freedom when we got the Luchot from the Malach HaMavet and She'ebud, right? And if it wasn't for the Egel, we would have retained our freedom, right? And like it says in Shemot Otiyot. It says that if we didn't sin, Hashem would have considered it as if we completed our 430 years of She'ebud because of the hardship of the slavery, and we would have been okay, and we never would have had any other galuyot. So now here comes the question. You ready? It was a great question. He says, what's the difference? If you're going to say that the She'ebud of the Koshi completes the 430 years, even if we sinned, you should have punished us in a different way. Why do you have to go back on? What are we, an Indian giver now? Or what are we doing? You said it that if we would have completed the she'ebud, the hardship, you would have considered, you forgave the loan. You forgave the loan. Now you're telling me that if I make a sin, now the loan's not forgiven. Don't say that. Give me a different punishment. Why does it have to be back? Because we already have that what's the word? What the PPP? You got the forgiveness letter. I got my forgiveness letter. So what are you coming back to me now and telling me that it's not? Right? That we shouldn't have to be subjugated more. And if we went to other galuyot, it seems that the koshi of the shebud did not fulfill the 430 years. And if so, lama im lo hayu hotim lo hayu ochim begalut. So then, if we went to other galuyot, it would have shown that we never would have fulfilled our 430 years. And if that's true, why is it that if we didn't sin, we would never have gone to the galuyot, which means that that we did not fulfill our quota? It's a double-edged sword. You understand the question? How could it be that if you're going to tell me that the slavery, the hardship of the slavery, gave me fulfilled my quota by 430 years of galut, then how could you tell me that if I did something wrong, it goes back retroactive? That's not fair. It should have. You said that the koshi she'bud, right, made it as if I fulfilled the 40. Wow, Mr. Brenner, good morning. How you doing? Okay, you understand? If that's the case, then I should be okay. And then why are you telling me that if it was that the second part of the question is that it seems that once you go to other galuyot, it seems that the koshi she'bud did not fulfill the minyan, the time. Why? Because if we didn't because if we didn't sin, we wouldn't go to galuyot, which means that the catch was not filled.
Right.
You understand? So it's you understand?
Mm-mm.
Okay, again.
Because
The question he's saying is, if our slave ship was Hashem took us out early, right? Which means that we couldn't last another minute there, right? If we can't last another minute there, then why are you punishing us later on, saying to us, wait a minute, you still owe me time, right? Basically, he took us out because he felt that we couldn't last. Hashem took us out because we couldn't last any longer. But if we couldn't last any longer, that means we kind of said, it's okay, you're done. But all of a sudden, we're coming back in, and he's saying now we're still on borrowed time. Basically, it means we still owe Hashem time on the slavery that we didn't complete later
Because
on.
you didn't let me complete it because I was at the bottom.
Exactly. So
And then I would ask another question. I mean, he didn't, which is, and let's just say that I do have to pay you back this time. Who's to say that all this is worth it? How much did I owe you? How much did I have?
190 years, maybe.
190. And what am I in right now?
2,500.
I got 2,500 plus.
190's Kate's.
I had
Kate's.
Kate's. So I had 2,500.
It's a big interest, a lot of interest.
With Holocaust and pogroms and all sorts of pretty rough stuff, where they weren't giving me fish and other stuff in Mitzrayim. And so, like, how does
So
that
that's the
work
one
out?
question. I need to find the answer to that. What's the scale?
I get
If
it.
I owe you
If I pay you, I'll
190.
pay you.
So, but why so much
they
longer?
fulfilled everything because of the kosher of the Shabbat.
That's if you're telling me the koshi of the she'bud fulfills the 430,
fulfilled
then why are you making it now? If I sin, well, thank you. Why if I sin now? You're gonna retroactive reverse it and now put the loan back on my shoulders? Give me a different punishment. You don't have to put. That's like the mortgage. It's like imagine you missed like your 30th year mortgage payment. And all of a sudden, the whole 30 years comes back. What do you mean? I owe you okay? You'll charge me the interest of the week of the month. What are you gonna do? The whole thing comes back. It's expensive. So why does it have to be that way?
We have a very easy mashal you can use.
What?
That disease that nobody wants to pronounce the name of. They do all sorts of things, chemotherapy, horrible, painful, I hear, and should never find out stuff, and then remission can just descend. I mean, all clear, and all of a sudden, 2 years later, it's all back in full force.
So he's saying is that
Sometimes it's just okay. It didn't work out.
he's saying is that you're getting punished with the first round of whatever machala you have, and then he's saying is the doctor said you're all clear, and all of a sudden,
A whole other thing.
All of a sudden, he became funky
comes
again.
back.
right?
So the
Same idea, right?
But that's the thing. We're asking on the Pesach. How are you going to tell me that if the hardship of the slavery, Hashem was going to make it count as I paid up my debt, then either it is or it's not. How are you telling me that if I don't sin, if I didn't do the egel, then I never would have been, then we would have got freedom. I would have been free from the Yetzirah and free from other galiyot. And then what? Just gotta do the egel. So give me a different punishment. Give me lashes. Give me, I don't know. Give me something else. What do you have to put the whole galut back into play? It's not fair. So the Yeshua, here comes the answer. It's amazing. Vadai afilu belo kosher she'ebud haya lahem lipater megalut acherot. He says that even without, this is amazing chidush. Really, there's room to say that even if we didn't put the koshi of the she'ebud aside, the hardship of the slavery put aside for a minute, even without that, he should have released us from other galuyot. Why? What it says in Gemara Makot, Chav Bet Amud Aleph, Amadu lekabel 40 laka biksat, miksat, sorry, ve'amru she'eno yachol lekabel 40 patur. You have a thing in the Gemara that let's say you cannot, the guy has got to get lashes, 39 lashes. He can't handle 39. He can only handle 15. So they give him 15. They don't give him 40. They don't give him 39. And it's enough.
No, and it's like he got 40.
He doesn't have to come back tomorrow for the rest.
Yeah.
He's covered. So, but why is that funny?
Still got 3 more.
Right.
It's a guy place. They'll give you the whole thing.
So then the same thing. So v'hachinami by us, by Israel, we Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right, had a thing with Abraham, and it says sheyichlu lekabel galut al 400. He told us we have galut of 400 years. Now that we were there for 210 years, right, and we were not able to do more because we're at the 49th level of Tumah. So then I should be patur, just like the guy in the Gemara who cannot receive more lashes is patur because they give him what he can handle. So too b'nei Israel that we could only handle 49th level of Tumah, 210 years. We couldn't handle 400, so let us be patur for the rest. It has nothing to do with the she'ebud, the koshi, the she'ebud. You understand? It's an amazing thing. Right? So that why are we forced to go to other galuts? So what do you have to say? You have to say that it's not the same. You can't compare. Why can't you compare? Because the hata b'malkot, right, or the guy that has to get lashes, he's on. Why is he honest? Because he's weak. He can't handle it. The guy's not positive. Next page. Sarich lamad.
Okay.
Sarich lamad mishum de lo dameh. It's not comparable. The hata b'malkot ha'onesh she'eno yachol lekabel b'manat she'ateva shelo shenithalesh. The guy's weak. He physically can't handle 40 lashes. Okay? It's not his fault. It's just the way he's created. Some people are made like wrestlers. Some people are made as runners. Right? So the runner can't get 39 lashes. That's disaster. Right? Hopefully not the wrestler either. For that reason, he's patur. He's on it. What does honest mean? He's forced. Anus means he was out of my control. So the way you created, is the way you create. You can't change your physique. So if you can't handle something like that, it's not because of something that you did or did not do. It's something that you can't handle. But here, the onus is on Israel. Eno mehamat halashut gufam. It's nothing to do with the fact that we were weak. The guy with the makot is about physicality. By us, there's nothing to do with physical. But what was it? That we were metameh, but through tumah. And this we have a small amount of peshia, meaning it really was on us. Because we never should allow ourselves to get what's it called from the beginning. Okay, he's explaining. There's a difference between the case in the Gemara and our case. The case in the Gemara is that why is he patur? Because he could only handle what he can handle. The case by us is that we're not physically, it's nothing to do with our physicality, it's what we allowed ourselves to be exposed to. Okay? So because you allowed yourself to be exposed to Tumah, then you have a portion, you are posheya, it's on you. And you got to deal with that. Okay? Lomar, we still have room to complain, to say, to object. Lomar, but this is great. there's room to say, we could argue and say it's not our fault. The heaviness of the slavery caused us to be posheh and the tumah. It wasn't us. Right? It caused us. Garam lahem kach. Like it says in Yakut Shimoni, Shaman Michael, Sadi Israel, L'Sarei HaUmot. What does he say? Kelum Abdu Yisrael Avodah Zarah B'Mitzrayim Ela Mitoch Terut Da'at. He said, because there's a whole argument in Shamayim. Are Bnei Israel worthy or not worthy? Right? And the Satan goes up against Hashem also. It's a whole other midrash. But Michael comes and tells the other Sarei Umot, right? Every what's it called? Every nation has a malach. Okay, we have Michael, right? He's our Sad, and so he's fighting with the other malachim, and he's telling them that Bnei Israel did not do. The only reason why we did any type of avodah zarah is because of because we took teruv da'at, when we took onesh shel shebud, when we took dohak. Nothing was our fault. Nothing was our fault. We did it all because we had no choice. We were done. We were dead. They ate us up. They chewed us up and spit us out. We had nothing in our lives.
Teruv dat.
Teruv dat.
Yeah, it's meaning like you just gone crazy.
Yeah.
Lost your mind.
Right. And then, by the way, this argument works very well if we did not sin by the egel. Why? Because when we sinned with the egel, igalai milta le mafreya. Okay, it shows what you did in the future proves what you did in the past. In the past, you want to say that you were, teruf dat, and it's not, no problem. But now that you did the egel, they're going to connect the egel with all your past stuff, and now all of a sudden, chill your bones.
There's a whole pattern.
There's a pattern here. You have nothing to say.
Yeah, but that's also your fault because you made me a damaged product.
But no, because you were out. You were out. What do you mean?
No,
You
yeah,
saw.
but I was out, but beat up after what you put me through, and so yeah.
That's why Hashem made the deal with Yam Suf to spit out the 600 Echem Sus. Remember, there's a whole midrash. Hashem made a deal. 10 things He made a deal before He made the world. One of them was that Yam Suf will split. So when Yam Suf split, you know this one. When Yam Suf split, right, and toppled all the Mitzrayim and drowned all of them, Mitzrayim, the Bnei Israel was still afraid because maybe they're coming from the other side. So Hashem wanted to rest assured, Bnei Israel rest assured that they don't have tremors at night. Really, exactly what you're saying. And what does He do? But Yam Suf said, no, that wasn't part of the deal. Yam Suf says that wasn't part of the deal. So Hashem says, give me the 600 now, I'll give you 900 by Sisra. You give me this because it splits also, whatever, and it topples Sisra's army. So the Yam Suf said, fine, deal. So you learn from this that even Hashem goes through the teva of the world. Hashem has to negotiate? What are you talking about? It says that again, I think Rabbi Zera told the Nod, if you don't split, I'm going to dry you up, and you'll never. And then all of a sudden split. So what? Hakadosh Baruch Hu has to negotiate. Just tell him, do what I say. I'm God. So we show from this that even God goes through the laws of the teva which He created to show that there's no favorites. Right? Hashem is Emet. Right? Okay. So let's continue. So we learn this lemafreya shehayar etzonam ba'avodah zarah. Af b'mitzrayim, even in Mitzrayim, in hachinami shelo avadua mitoch hador hakosh shevud ela mirsonam hatov. They wanted it in Mitzrayim too. They wanted it in Mitzrayim too. How do you know? Because so they did not have they were honestly free. They were legitimately free after when they saw that the Mitzrayim were on the shore dead.
But they didn't allow themselves to internalize it properly to start from a fresh, healthy, holy person. They still let the old
Ta'avot. What do you want? It's you can. They can. By the way, what it is, they can take the guy out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the guy. You know what I mean?
Because the fact that they jumped on the first opportunity shows that they didn't really left it there.
Yeah.
They didn't do it only because of the Torah Vadat. They didn't do it just because they were all insane in the head and all these crazy things. That's not why they only did it. They also did it because they inside they wanted it.
Yeah.
By the way, Avodah Zarah was one of the strongest things. It's not we don't understand what does it mean to bow down to a cow today, but we know that Menashe HaMelech, Menashe, right? Remember, it was Rabbi Zera, right? We mentioned Rabbi Zera came to him in a dream because Rabbi Zera says tomorrow we're going to talk about our friend because they're talking about people that don't have a Chelek Olam Haba. And it says tomorrow we're going to talk about our friend Menashe.
Oh.
Okay, Menashe comes to him in a dream and he says, "You think you're so tough? If you were in my time, you would be lifting your rope so you don't trip over your rope to go run to." He goes, "And you think you know Torah?" He goes, "You don't know Torah." He goes, "Where do you say, when you say Hamotzi, which part of the bread do you eat? Do you break off and eat?" So the said, "I didn't know the answer." He goes, "I don't." He goes, "Don't tell me you know Torah." So he goes, "No, tell it to me. I'll say it in your name in the Beit Midrash tomorrow. Tell it to me." So he goes, the most burnt part of the bread. And when he came back, it was that's all Gemara, but to show you that Avodah Zarah was such a strong thing, we don't have the understanding of what this meant, right? But you have to understand that it was something very, very scary. Because you have to realize that Avodah Zarah worked. You prayed for something and it came true. Because it's from the dark side. You have Sitra Harat, Sitra Kedusha. So it's not just, it's the same, debates that people have today would be, but that's why you have to have Emunah Peshuta. That's why you just have to understand it is what it is. Whether you understand it or not, it's not relevant right now. You want to ask questions to ask. No problem, mutad. Right? We push to ask. But you have to know, no matter what the answer is, you need to be okay with it. Even if you don't understand it. And don't assume that you know it or don't, that it has to fit within my 5-year plan. It doesn't work that way. You do not limit the unlimited God in your limited brain. It's not fair. Okay, it's not a fair fight. So let's continue. So now we're showing that Bnei Israel Davka, because they did the Egel, there was no one's forcing them to do the Egel. They got the Luchot, they got everything, they're on cloud nine. There's no reason why they need to worry. There's no reason why they should do any type of Avodah, but yet they did it. Okay? So he explains it's similar to what it says in the Gemara, in Avodah Zarah, Nun Gimel Amud Bet. The Amara Hwana v'Ashrehem Tisrefun Ba'esh. We know he says when we go into Israel, he tells us that we have to burn all the trees, right? All the Ashrehem, because what did they do? They made Avodah Zarah out of it, right? And now, so he said,
it's a special tree.
Yeah, special tree for right, but it's designated for. It was planted, has to be planted for an Asherah. Mikedi Yerusha hi lahem avotehem. So the Gemara explains that when you have a Yerusha that's given from your forefathers, you cannot make something asur that's not yours. So the question was, why do I have to burn all the trees? They made something. The 7 nations were really just watching over it for us. You understand? They were just watching over they were just watching over the land for us, keeping it warm. Keeping your seat warm, right? So why would I have to destroy all the Avodah Zarah trees? Why would I have to do that? It's not. You can't make something asur that's not yours. You can't come to my house. My buddies across the street, right? The Arabs can't come to you all of a sudden and say that this is for whatever, right? When it doesn't belong, it's mine. What are you doing? Get out of here. You can't do that. Now, now that we messed up with the Egel, it's revealed that they really liked Avodah Zarah. Right? So that's why Hashem's telling that they got to burn Avodah Zarah, because really, in the back of your mind, there's a society that did like the Avodah Zarah. Which means, and when Nochrim came into Israel and planted the Asherot, the Asherah tree, right? It seems like they were doing our will, because it seems like we were happy with it, we were okay with that, right? Now, after we do the Egel, it was forced on us to have Galiot Aharot. Because we did not fulfill the 400 years of Galut in Mitzrayim. After we sinned by the Egel, we sinned by the Egel. They brought us back the other Galiot. Why? Because we wanted to say, let's recap. So we asked the question, right? We didn't get to the Motzai Umarod yet, by the way. We didn't get to that. But we went to say, the issue of the Inyan is, by the way, unbelievable, Derasha. the explains that the difference, the Galut Mitzrayim, we knew that we left early because we went to the 49th level of Tumah. And if we would have stayed, we never would have had any other Galut. We also know that when we got to Har Sinai and Hashem gave us the Luchot, He gave us freedom from the Yetzirah and He gave us freedom from Galiot Ahirot. And if we did not do the Egel, then we would have, if we didn't do the Egel, then we would have stayed that way. But that, now the fact that we did the Egel, all that stuff came back. So we asked the question, said, how can it be? Is that if you're going to say, what does one have to do with the other? What does the Egel have anything to do with returning the years of Galut back? Punish us with something else. Punish us with something else, right? Right? And then we bring a Gemara in Makot that says if a guy can't handle 39 lashes, he can't handle 39 lashes, and he can only, and they tell us, the Bedin, they tell the Bedin, he can only handle 15, 16 lashes. That's what they give him, 15 or 16 lashes. Right? And at the end of the day, then he's patur, he's good, he's got what he's got. So Zera Shimshon says, same thing with us. Why can't you just make it with us? Give us, we could only handle 210 years. Why call us patur? We should be patur. What does everybody think? Why do we have to go to any Galiot? We went into because the 210 gave us to the 40th level of Tumah. That should be enough. That's our capacity. The Zera Shimshon says not true. Zera Shimshon says it's different because the way he's created is the way he's created. Right? The guy is tall and lanky. He's tall and lanky. He can't handle 15 lashes. The guy is short and stocky, but he can handle the thickness. I don't know what. No problem.
I don't want it anyway.
Right. We don't want the honey, and we don't want the sting. So then where do we go with this? So then we're saying that Bnei Yisrael Davka wanted it ourselves. We wanted it. We asked for it because we know. Because actually, before we said that, we said we said it's not the same because one is physical and one is that we accepted Tumah upon ourselves. But then you can still argue that and say it has nothing to do. How can you talk about Tumah? Michael fought the other Malachim and told them that is the only reason we're totally 100% Anus because what we did has nothing to do with us. We were just we were crazy. All the Shabbat it killed us, right? And then we say. So that's one thing. And then we prove it what with the Gemara and Avodah Zarah, that's not true. We said in Avodah Zarah, right, in the Pasuk, where it says, V'ashrehem tisrifun ba'esh, you have to destroy the ashrehem trees. Why do we have to destroy the trees? Because we proved that we had that desire in us from the beginning. So we connect, what do we learn? Because we said that we did the Egel, it brought everything back. Why did it bring everything back? Give us something else. Give us a different punishment. What do you have to give us back the 190 years of the Galut that we have till today? That's not fair. So he answers that because what we did in the future proved what happened in the past. The argument of Michael HaMalach doesn't work anymore. Because you did the Egel and there was nobody after you, and we talked about the Mitzrayim and the Yam Suf, there's no reason why you should be doing this to me. So the answer is because you really wanted it at the beginning.
So how do you ever do tshuva? It's like you're always going to hold me back.
David HaMelech says, Hatati negdi tamid. No, it's Hatati negdi tamid. My sin is always in front of me.
Psalm 51. Yeah.
Right, it's always going to be next to you. And the Arizal says the sword of the word vinakeh in the Yag Midot is that you can never, anything that's broken, you cannot fix and put exactly where it needs to go in Shemaim. Your arms don't reach that high. But what do? All you're doing is doing like an aliyub to Hashem. I made teshuvah, throwing it up to Hashem. Hashem grabs it and puts it directly where it needs to be. Arizal calls it like a chandelier, right? Like every mitzvah that you do is a light, but you can't fix the chandelier the way we're not capable. We're not physically. We're limited. We're limited. So he's the one that. But our regret, and by the way, we learned it together in Derech Hashem. Where's the real shefa that you get? Is in Olam Haba. You can't get it here. You get a sliver. You get a part of it, but you're not going to be able to get everything. Everything. The concentration of our zechuyot are only. Your job is to try as hard as you can. That's your job. You know, it said Arizal also says about Dora
Tshuva,
Midbar.
not Shefa. What are you talking about?
What?
We're talking about Tshuva, not Shefa.
But because how do you get shefa through teshuvah? He's saying, how can I make real teshuvah? I'm saying that your
Tshuva,
job is to make
Tshuva.
teshuvah as hard as you can
Tshuva,
here.
Tshuva. It's just,
Yeah, but he's saying, how could you make any real teshuvah? Well, but by the way, hold on.
It's like Sasha. If you ever do something, if I catch you doing something, off color, remember those early days of rock?
Right, very nice.
I catch you in a club again, and I was
Right.
you never.
Yeah.
You're the same person.
Same old guy.
You never change. You see, believe me, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
but Sasha, then you got to ask. But Yosef, but then you got to say, Yossi, what are you doing here? All right. Now you do know, by the way, what it says in Pirkei Avot, I think, or the Gemara, it says that if you see a Sadiq doing something wrong at night, right, don't judge him. Because chances are he already made teshuvah by the morning. The regret that the person has by the morning is teshuvah. So it's heavy. These scales are very hard to. You can't judge. Your job is to do the best you can. That's your job. But you need to be honest with yourself. You need to know what is really doing the best I can. You gotta know what that really means. Look, tonight was super, super hard for us to come out. And I thought maybe we would get 2-3 guys tonight. And thank God we have a whole crew tonight. It's amazing, really. Ashachem guys that you came. It's not. But that fight that you have in your mind is never going to go away. Tomorrow is going to be something else, and you got to deal with it. But you get stronger. You 100% get stronger because your fights of today were not your fights of 5 years ago, right or wrong?
And Yom Tov.
Right. So your job is to continue fighting, and your fights will get stronger, and we'll get riskier. Higher you go up, higher. Yeah. It's a roller coaster, but that's life. Okay, let's continue. Now let's get to Motzai Maror because we're going to wrap up soon. We know Motzai is zecher what? For freedom, and the Maror is zecher for what? Is the bitterness, and the Magid of the Haggadah switches the seder. Where do you see this? He says, "Hayal lomar mi shelo amad shosha davarim b'Pesach lo yasai yedei havata." You should have said Pesach Maror umatzah. Right? It would make sense. Korban Pesach, bitterness of the slavery, then the Herut. Johnny Sadiq. Ve'lama amad Pesach Matzah Maror. Why do you split it? Ela lehashmienu, to teach you shebishbir sheyatzu b'hipazon. It teaches that the fact that we left b'hipazon mishum hachi afu oto b'tzek matzot, and because of this we baked the dough on the outside. Ki lo hametz ki gorshu mitzrayim v'lo yachul itmameya. Dehainu, what does that mean? Shelo hishlimu hazeman. It's teaching why do we have to do it on the cuff? Because we didn't finish the time. We were still supposed to be there, right? And we didn't finish the time. Mishum hachi yesh lanu maror, and that's why we have maror. Dehainu, what's maror? Galuyot ahirot. The galuts are not done, right? When it says in the pasuk in Shemot, it says mevi. I forgot the pasuk, but it says that ani mevi etchem. What does mevi stand for? Madai, Babel, Yavan, and Edom. The 4 other galuyot, because he knew that he knew that this was going to happen. So it's not. So he flipped the order. He should have said Pesach Maror Umatzah, because that's in chronological order. But why did he switch it to say Pesach Matzah Maror to show you that the Maror is still coming because we have other galuyot, right? That's why. But by the way, this is the clincher. This is why Parashat Be'elotecha, which is the second year of the Midbar. Second year. Right? And we already did the Egel. Right? He says, Al Masot Umrorim Yochilu. He connects the two. Why? She'amatzot Umrorim Hakolu Ta'am Ehad. She'amatzot Morim She'atzu Kodem Zeman. Hamatzot is going to teach you that we left early from the Zman. Why? Because we were on the 40th level. And we couldn't handle anymore so therefore we had to go up b'chibazon. When mishumachi yesh lahem merorim in the future, because you're still going to have other galiyot in the future. So that's why the what's it called? Switch the thing. Okay. So again, why did we switch? Why did we switch it? We should have been Pesach Maror Matzah, and yet we switched it to Pesach Matzah Maror to show you that we left early. And because why did we leave? Leaving early wasn't a good thing. Leaving early means we had to tap out early. We had the 40th level of Tumah. We could not handle anymore, right? And we learned this through the word hipazon, and we learned this through the pasuk. Excuse me. that we had to, we had to umishumach afuet batzot, right? We did it on the cup as we're leaving. Why? Because we had no choice. We didn't know that we were leaving. We knew we were leaving, but we thought we had another 190 years, right? And that's why Parashat Be'alotecha, that's after the Egel, the second year in the Midbar, we already did the Egel. So we already know we did the Egel. We already know that the freedom is lost, and we're back with the other Galiyot. So Matzah Umarod. Why? Because Matzah is the Geulah, beautiful. But because we have some baggage in the closet that we have to take care of, there's going to be Marod still on the table. Okay, that's what it is. Umnam, however, the Pesach that we were in Mitzrayim, Shayav Shad Shelo Yehetu. We were, you never know. By the way, what's an amazing thing? You could be fighting with the Yetzer Hara. You never know how it's going to end. Yeah, sometimes you clutch. Sometimes you pull out, and you didn't realize you were gonna. You thought you were gonna sin. You thought you were gonna yell. You thought you were going to eat too much. You thought you were going to... I don't care. It's not everything's about the garbage in the street. There's other things that you have to worry about. Right? And now I'm fighting with myself, and now I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Sometimes you don't think you're going to win. And it's amazing. You understand? So the fact that the Pesach in Mitzrayim, we didn't do it yet. We didn't do the Egel, even though Hashem knew, but we have Bechira of Sheet. There is a possibility that we will not do it. We won't do the Egel. Umishum ha'achi... Right? שהיה אפשר שלא יחטאו, אז הקושי שעבוד היה משלים. If we didn't, right? So we said that by the Pesach in Mitzrayim, it was possible that we never would have sinned with the Egel, right? And therefore the kosher, the shebud would have been completed. It would have been counted as why. The whole argument is do the years count? Are they fulfilled or not? So the question, what is it? It's contingent on what? On the fact that we want to do we want to sin or not? Why? Because the Gemara Makot says that if you can't handle something, they give you what you can and they consider it patur. So Michael is fighting with the Malachim and Shamayim and saying that they only did it because they were the she'ebud, the koshi, the she'ebud is the only reason why they sinned. Right? So therefore they deserve to leave. Right? And they should not be punished for doing Avodah Zarah. Now we get to Har Sinai, we get to the Luchot, Moshe goes up, 40th day we do the Egel. It shows what we did then. It connects everything to previous before. So now your weakness of handling and missing out the 400 years doesn't count anymore. You have to get those other 190 years. You understand? It's all tied into Michael. Michael was fighting and saying that they're patur. That why? Because
they would have been patur had they not.
Because the other side of the Umot is saying that they did Avodah Zarah just like the Mitzrayim. So he's saying, no, the Koshi, the Shevut, cause it was, no, it's like the mother. The mother saying, no, leave him. By me, growing up was the opposite. My father's protecting me, my mother's coming at me. Well, we were 2 years old, me and my brother Leon were twins, right? I'm a twin. Fraternal, but we're twins. We had real bad, terrible twos. And we poured detergent, all the detergent that's under the sink, on a carpet, okay, in our room. And now my parents are cleaning it up, and you see bubbles floating up because when you put water, it called suds. And my mother wants to come and trach us, okay? My father's, we're hiding behind my father. My father's like, no, I hit them already. It's okay, I hit them already. That's crazy. But that's a real story. So because we're patur, because of the koshi the shebud, Michael is saying no, the koshi shebud causes us to sin. So but now that we did the egel, it's not true. We see that it's connected. It's not true. You understand that we did have a desire to do the egel, to do Avodah Zarah in Mitzrayim, which means that we're going to sin. But with the pasuk that we said before in our parasha, right? It's still why is it separating matzot al merorim? Separating. Why? To show you, because we don't know, maybe there's only going to be geulah. But in Behalotecha, we already spilled the beans, and the soap's already on the carpet, and the bubbles are already shining, already coming up, and now we're going to get other galiyot. We're having 4 other galiyot. Right? ולא היו צריכים לגלות אחרות, right? הפסיק הכתוב בין מצות ולמרונים. שיש שם המצות הם סימן לגאולה דווקא, שלא לסימן בבזון. That's interesting. Because it's not the siman of...
The first year the matzot were for the sake of chipazon, for our rush. And therefore it should have been, like you said, Pesach Maror Matzah. But in the second year, the matzah is no longer it's not no longer reminds us of the rush that we were in. Now it's a sign of the Geulah. It's a future. The Pesach and the matzah and maror are meeting together because we're always mixing them up, Geulah and Galut.
Right. So now we know matzah is a siman of Geulah and not a sign of hipazon.
Right.
Not a sign of us rushing out. Because the sign of Geulah, the hipazon, is a bad thing. Because we had the rush. Right? And this is ve'achlut ha'basar b'layla hazeh sidi yesh u'matzot. And then it says, al merorim yochelu. Right? And Rashi explains on a pasuk, right? Zecher v'yimareru et hayehem. Dehainu achila aheret mufseket u'muvdelet mireshona. That he's saying that the matzah and maror are two separate eatings. Two separate eatings. The matzah, it says that ve'achlut ha'basar b'layla sidi yesh u'matzot, comma, and then it says ve'al maror ve'al. Then it says al merorim yochelu. Okay, so we answer the question. We answer the question. I want to end early only because it is Chol HaMoed, and by the way, Chol HaMoed is only meant to learn Torah. Tanei Devayav says it. The Halakha says it. Hazor Avadiyah, the Gemara says it. Chol HaMoed is meant to learn. Now we got to juggle our family, and we get it. I get it. Please make sure that everybody learns every day, morning and at night.
And we have a class next Thursday, yeah?
Yeah, we got it next Thursday. Yeah, sure.
But a full one, normal.
Full class next Thursday. I want everybody here. I want my 500 viewers like we had last week. It's not a joke. What do you think this is here?
It's growing.
We're live from EFRAT. So again, basically you understand that the power is in your hands. Do not make any sins. Hashem will pay you off. You understand? And if you do sin, you're going to have to pay for it. Does not mean Hashem doesn't love you. And don't start with that. But it's 100% true Hashem loves you. And like I told my kid the other day, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't care. Right? Because I don't care. You don't care. If there's a hobo on the street, you don't care about that guy. But if your kid does something similar, you do care. Why? Because you love him. So again, in the zechut of our learning, we should be zocher, especially the people that we prayed for today. Yisrael David ben Rivka, Moshe ben Yehudit Sarah, Hayim Aaron ben Bila Hana, Yosef Reuven ben Naomi, Malka bat Sarah, Hayim Nachman ben Mashe Riva, all the Mesuvim Khan,
Eliyahu
Eliezer ben
Chana Liba.
Again? Eliezer
Eliezer, it's for Dessler's name.
Eliezer
Ben Chana Liba.
ben Hana Liba. Right. Oh, we have a Hayim Aaron ben Liba Hana. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody should be zocher to live their lives in clarity and have parnasah and have shefa and beracha, and we should be able to learn together to Mashiach b'meravi. Amen. Amen. Baruch everybody.
Kaddish, we have a minion.
We do.
We actually have 10.
Do we have anyone who could say Kaddish? Anybody?
Anyone who's
yes? Can you or not? רבי יחניה בקשה אומר עשה הקדוש ברוך הוא סוכות אצל לפיך יברך תורה כמו שנאמר אז נחפש למען סגנון תורה ואדיל. Oh my gosh, no way.
Amen.
Amen.